All right, we're going to call this meeting to order. It is 7:02 p.m., August 19th. And we're going to establish a quorum with Tim Nice, Winter, Todd Summers, Jerry Stevens, and Abigail Beadle. Also in present is our bookkeeper, Nancy Martin. I'm sorry.
I said right in her name.
Talking to her earlier. Sorry.
Miss Nancy, congratulations.
Nancy Pepper. Long day.
That was the icebreaker to get everybody.
There you go, get everybody's attention. I want to welcome everyone here. See, we got a lot of firefighters and people from the community. Thanks for being here. I know the minutes from the previous meeting were put out by Ms. Beadle. Everybody have an opportunity to read those. If there's no corrections or deletions, I'll accept the motion to accept those.
Make a motion to accept the minutes.
I have a motion to accept the minutes from the previous meeting. Do I have a second?
I second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. Thank you very much. That takes us to the treasurer's report.
You have a stack of papers from me, so just look first at your one on top, it's the treasurer's report for July. Our M&O income that's come in is $457,392, and that is really quite in line with what we expected. We have 5% more to be able to reach what we expected in our budget. And then the delinquent in the penalty and interest is listed, which gives us $473,115. In property tax, sorry. The other income that's listed, $1,087.70, that's the amount that we got from the insurance company for the door problem out there. And again, I would suggest if that winds up costing us more than that, we give them another claim showing the exact cost. Our sales tax revenue that came in is at $410,000. We brought in $39,000 this last month. Everything else is pretty standard. We have 2 more months left, so we should finish out some of these. There will need to be a few budget amendments in the next meeting, and that is just because we overpaid in some areas, things that we needed to do. And there are some things that we didn't set up, like the ISO amount. We didn't set that up in the original budget because we didn't really know for sure when it was going to be done. So that's just a slight thing that we make those adjustments so that the final budget has all the amendments on it. But we ended the month $397,000 for the year over revenue over expenses. And then you'll see the expenses that we've incurred. I did make the payment, as you directed me to, of $150,000 on our note. And so that has been paid down quite a bit. So our income over expenses after the non-budgeted things is $241,000. If you turn on the back, you see the INS account, debt service, and of course that's pretty standard. That's the amount of money that's come in. The same thing, we're 5% left for the year. And so we had a total of $89,000 come in. We paid out $78,000 so far for 10 months of note payments. And that will hold the same till the end of the year. Our bank account is still at $465,000 even after making $150,000 out. And then our money market account is over $100,000. Our INS account is $52,000. This month we will get $38,000 in sales tax. If you look at the bottom, this is a nice thing. We are now at $88,803 as our principal on our firehouse note. So that will be paid off within the next year. You see the bills that are listed to be paid. They're all standard. There was not anything that came in or anything other that needed to be paid. So that totals $98.49, including the $7,000 note payment. So that's the report from July.
Any discussion?
So the payment on the firehouse, that is the total left, our balance total.
Yes, and principal. And, you know, we're making over $7,000 a month in principal payment. Out of the 78, more than 7,000 of it is going toward principal.
Mhm.
That's why we know that it'll be paid off, at least probably before 12 months, probably closer to July
Okay.
next year.
Very good.
And down at the bottom on the front page where I have what's listed as capital expenditures, you'll notice that I had listed the 2 audits that we were to pay for the fire department. We do have a place up in the top, but this was over and above what we were budgeted for the year. So I just listed them at the bottom, and then the forensic audit also. Those amounts will be changed or carried forward to the next year. We may have one that we pay next month. We may get one of them in to pay next month. It's in review is what they tell me, so that means it's almost finished.
I would like to make a motion to accept the treasurer's report and pay the bill for total $9,849.50.
A second?
A motion and a second to accept the treasurer's report as presented and pay the bills. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. Thank you. Great. Okay. That brings us to the volunteer fire department.
So, Mr. Henry asked to do the financial report. So the sheet in front of you has the beginning balance of $130,550.95 for the month of July, and an ending balance of $149,401.79. That we gave 58 payments, and that cleared, and 3 deposits and other credits that cleared. We still had about $12,000 in uncleared transactions, and the register balance as of the 3rd was $123,154.36. Nobody panic, there's still a lot of stuff to get. But that was for the financial report. I know that you wanted something off of QuickBooks to show the categories that it was going in, so the sheet afterwards is that breakdown from QuickBooks. Would you like me just to keep going? Yeah. So the run report for July was 121 calls. 99 of those were medical responses to include vehicle accidents. 17 fire responses, 9 canceled prior to arrival, making our year-to-date for the end of July 800 total. Our out-of-district mutual aid was 2, our mutual aid in-district was 4, and our tone out to on-scene average times was about 5.5 minutes, both out-of-station and in-house. For our fleet report, brush truck 8120 is having its transfer case being installed tonight, so it should be done by the time this meeting ends. Heavy brush truck 82 and heavy brush truck 8320 are both operational. There's nothing to report from that. Rescue 8120, the batteries were replaced this past month. We have a quote for scene lights and the engine beacon light that is going to be out to be paid. The engine 8120 AC parts are in, and we're getting that scheduled with Dalen. The beacon light and the rescue scene lights were quoted for all 3 for $1,300, and that's coming to be paid this month in August. Engine 8220 from the PR, the rear seal was replaced before any damage could be done to it. And FR 8120, the new armrests were installed, so the doors are now fully functional. Your recommended annual timeline for reports and deliveries is part of your packet. So it's broken down by month. Every month you should be getting a monthly financial report, revenue and expenditures, an activity report, and the meetings from each minutes. The minutes from each meeting. And then everything that's broken down in the contract is highlighted in blue. So those should be the months that we should be expecting, or expected to be getting all that to you. So the, the only other thing that we have is that Cowboys was called today. There's been an increase in our friends, the scorpions and the bugs around the fire station, so they'll be around to, either they said later tonight or tomorrow morning, to go ahead and spray again. And the compressor, while being fixed, it might be less expensive to purchase a new compressor, and that's coming straight from the man from Morning Morrow. And then the last page y'all have should be the compressor that I know AC was speaking with Mr. Ken about. That's it from us, if you have any questions.
The fleet report, is this, any of this repaired on the trucks to the damage that was caused when they were pulled out of the door? Is that what some of this is?
Yes, sir. Those are the two scene lights.
Which truck is that?
That's Rescue 8120, sir.
8120?
Yes, sir. Rescue. And the transfer case that's being replaced, the brush truck, we just put that in 3 months ago. It has less than 500 miles on it. So when we bought it, we had a 3-year warranty on it, so that's at no cost to us. And Dalen is honoring his labor. He's gonna go back to the dealer and go to the dealer for his labor costs for installing.
The flat house?
No, sir, that's the brush truck 8120. And then the rear seal was on the output shaft for the transmission pump. He just caught it as a class 3 leak. And before it caused any further damage as part of the preventive maintenance, he's up underneath of them. So let's just go ahead and swap it out and get a new seal before any additional damage is done to it.
Do you have a year-to-date for fire response, council response? Do you have a year-to-date for that, those numbers?
No, but I can pull one up. before
Please,
the
if you
meeting.
could.
Canceled en route?
Yeah, we did.
Both,
Oh, year-to-date.
both, yeah, year-to-date
Okay,
for
yeah.
both of those,
Okay.
if you don't mind.
Oh, yes, sir.
I really love this one.
Thank you. I tried.
Oh, that's just
Just for those two, not all the.
And good idea, set in motion.
All right, so dumb question for me,
No, sir.
ignorance of myself, but Rescue 8120 and Engine 8120, same vehicle or two?
No, they're two different.
Two different vehicles.
Okay, so Rescue 8120 is the one that had the damage going through the door?
Yes, sir. The two scene lights on the engineer side.
All right.
It's the right rear beacon off of engine 8120 that came off.
We're still you're getting quotes on that?
I have quotes on it already, sir.
You have them right?
We just have to pull the trigger on.
You mind me asking, what are you waiting? Just, did you come in today or something, or?
I was shopping around.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not affecting us on scene?
No, sir. It has additional scene lights.
Yeah, it has the other scene lights in the front.
I think you can hold off.
I'm sorry.
This is what I was really too, for us to have a system in place to where we were getting, the information reported and then me and Mr. Bowers.
He's on a vacation.
Oh, good for him. But where we would kind of be able to see what's coming and make sure that we have everything on our agendas and everything like that. And so I would probably ask y'all to take a close look at that. And there's highlighted items, those are gonna be the ones that are pretty specific. And are you seeing them frequently enough and in places where that makes sense?
Certain things I put down, like, our licenses and and things of that nature. A lot of them expire at the end of September, but also the TCFP expires at the end of October. So that's why I pushed it to November, so that way all of the ones that, as they were getting renewed, we would have a complete list for you in the following month. So that's why I tried to move things in that way. But if there's anything on that list that you need, and most of that we have here on file anyway, especially like the maintenance. So if ever you need to see it for whatever reason, the binder of maintenance is always with AC in his office. And then if you need anything, you just have to ask and we have it here.
Of course. I really love this because it kind of spreads the work out. You know, it spreads the work out and it makes everything predictable and routine and builds the system. So
Of
thank
course,
you.
except for anybody coming in new or whatever, but you're gonna have onesies and twosies, I'm sure.
See, do we have a sign-up sheet anywhere?
Yes, sir, there's one in the back, for both yours and for ours.
Okay. Does somebody mind bringing us the sign-up sheet, if you don't mind, please? Kind of forgot about that. So nobody signed up to talk, nobody wants to say anything, I'll give you one last chance to put your name on there.
Oh, okay, time's up.
Oh, wow.
Well, I mean, there's nobody on there, so I'm just saying if you want to.
I actually missed writing on
Okay.
it. That, I just walked by it and ignored it. I would like to be on there for,
Mrs. Randall on
maybe
there,
not the
please.
second, but when we get.
That's
into
fine, I
that
just want to
stuff.
make sure, yeah.
Yeah, could you put Debbie Randall on there, please? Thank you.
I know, don't think, I didn't sign up either.
You wanna be on there?
There's a reason I didn't sign up.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Are they asking us to?
No, they're just providing that, it's our equipment, so it's really, we have to decide when we want to do that. That's the compressors for filling up the
Cascade.
bottles.
Oh.
To fill the
that's just-
SUV.
Yeah.
Boombox.
So that was
Somebody's
part of
gonna have a
that was
DJ.
part of the firehouse equipment, when we built the firehouse.
It's got the notch for the shoulder.
Yeah.
So this isn't something, because they said something about they need to be repaired or replaced.
Well, it does.
Right.
So
When do we need to
it's,
decide that?
they have it, but they said that for the cost, because we have an older model, that for the cost and labor and everything and repairing it, that it might be ideal just to look into getting a new machine.
Right,
But-
but when do we need to do that?
How
Before
soon?
next month or, you
Oh.
know, now or?
I spoke with them today, and I asked them 3 questions. Need the cost of repair, cost of replacement, or if they have refurbished models in-house. But Ken and I had talked about and discussed this particular model, that's why I presented it to them.
Okay.
But more than
The one
likely,
we got just for reference right now at this point.
So
Just
we're okay if
remember-
we all pass it next week or so, we're just only gonna have 1 month left to pay anything in this fiscal period. So if we're gonna do something, we need to get it approved and paid for.
And that's on loan,
by the end of
not-
September.
that's a
Just on
loaner.
loan.
This
That's
one
a
is the
loaner
loaner.
that we have from
The one we have now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's loaned out to us.
I spoke with them this morning, I spoke with them earlier in the week, and both of their technicians are out in Texas doing stuff, so.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Did you get that information that you felt?
It's on my computer. I just didn't know if y'all had any other questions before I run out to go get it.
No, you're, go ahead.
We got a window completely out. I went over there today and it's like, that one room got all wet. No. Yeah.
most questions.
So a lot of these
Did you get what you were looking for?
she's pulling it out.
Debbie,
Yes.
since we're waiting on something, if you want to speak, you're welcome
No,
to.
I didn't want to speak until we were, that y'all,
Okay.
like, I want to be part of a discussion whenever we get to certain items.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to make a speech.
No?
No, not today.
Speech.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was February. 20 years. Yeah, I thought they could keep it alive. They've done a good job.
Ms. Pepper, I was just talking with Mr. DeBose, and that cascade system came from the old station, so it's about 20 years old. So
It should still have, what, 10 years left in it?
I'm just putting that out there, so replacement is more than likely going to be.
So that, it says blue box, but it's actually the cascade system.
Yes, ma'am.
How much is the lead? Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
That ain't bad. Yeah.
And this one has, in a closed case, where you put your bottles in it, our other one has plate metal that goes around it, so.
Oh, so it has a safety function.
Yes, sir.
Things just get kind of tight at the end of the last.
Of course, ma'am.
We're trying to get things paid before the end of the year. If you receive it, you're supposed to pay for it, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it would, I mean, I didn't realize until I asked Mr. DeBose how old it was. He said 20 years, so it's
Unless it was more score.
more than likely.
Over 20.
Oh, yeah.
You were a probie back then?
No, no, no. You're always a pro somewhere.
So,
No respect tonight.
even if parts
That's
would be
true.
available, it's gonna be, still gonna be a 20-year-old machine.
So,
Gotta start somewhere.
having said that, what about, even the bottles and stuff? I mean, are they still certified?
Yes, sir.
They're still.
You can appreciate this, Patrick, my nephew, he just graduated from the academy, Naval Academy, he just sent me his shove-back card.
Nice.
So, he was all proud of that.
Yeah, I would have loved to have made that
I
accomplishment.
never did either, we were
My
on our
daughter
way,
did.
we were on our way to do it, and got called
I have a
somewhere else.
golden shellback.
That means he did some really bad stuff when he was only Navy people can understand what that means.
I was telling my nephew who graduated from the academy last year, and he's on deployment, and he sent me a picture of his shellback card. So,
I have a blue nose too, if you know what that nose.
Yeah, I got one of those.
And that was the challenge.
good.
I see it.
Had
Last
frozen
one.
bad eyes on the flight bag.
All right, we're gonna move on to old business.
You got it?
42
42
42.
for the year?
for the year.
And then how many canceled?
42 was canceled.
Oh, 42 was canceled?
Yes.
Fire, and then how many fire?
How many fires?
You had how many fire calls, and then how many canceled for the year? I'm sorry, I
Uh-huh.
thought,
Nope,
I
that's
thought
all
that's.
right.
Sorry.
I'll get all of them.
Website, Jeff is the one been doing our website for us. He's not here. He had an emergency, electrical job in San Antonio. One of the high schools went down, and so his company's the one that got the call. Nancy has an update on the website
Yes,
though.
he talked to the lady in Austin that's been working with it, and evidently there's a domain name conflict because I believe we had a website at one time before, and Mr. Boissier was taking care of it. Because there's already a domain name out there, we can't go with a new website with the same domain name. So we're gonna have to go probably to Austin or someplace, and Jeff's gonna take care of it, pay $13 to actually buy our domain name back.
Yeah.
So, and then it'll be up and going. And I was telling him it needs to be up and going because when we get this ready, with our tax rates and all, they have to be posted on the website.
All right. Okay.
Yes.
Ken, were you asking for the year-to-date call number total?
Fire.
Fire,
Fire.
just fire.
Yeah, fire.
Financial audit, I know we're close to answering on one and started the other.
Yeah, he said as soon as he finishes that one, then he will send us an engagement letter for the next one. But they should be able to go right into it. The 2022-23 is the one that they're finishing up, and hopefully that'll be ready to give to us next month.
Next month.
Or be finished next month, whether we want them to present it next month or not.
It's still our understanding they want to finish these two audits before they go back and do the forensic. That's what they've told us.
Okay.
Shower, I don't know, Jeff was doing that too, but can y'all have any update on that?
I think it's a couple of tiles a day, maybe, if?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Slow
It's-
roll.
He shows up 30 minutes, hour, cuts a tile, and then leaves.
Do we need to give him a timeline on this? It's gonna be drawn up.
We need to give him the boot.
Well, I was, okay. I'm
I
good with that
think
too.
it looks like he's almost done, he's still got the grout. He still has the grout in the shower, and I think he's got some trim work to do.
And
Um,
I'm not sure
And
what he
so,
did on the
yeah, the bottom,
floor.
bottom's not done yet either, the floor's
Well,
not
then
done.
there's more to it than
So,
just that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you got to grout that whole bottom and, you know, I mean, I've done it a few times. It's,
Jeff said that he was gonna tell him he needed to speed up and get it done by next month. Everything.
Next month.
By the end of next month or by
By the end of next month, but.
by the end of September?
That we needed to know what we needed to pay him by the next meeting.
I'm
And
sorry?
he needed to be finished.
Sorry, it's just got into it all.
Who's that guy, so I won't hire him to do any work?
must have been the lowest bidder.
We didn't have bidders, that's the problem.
Yeah, we didn't have no bidders, I think we should have done
All right. Security upgrades?
that. Is this the doors?
The doors, yeah.
Okay, so, correct me if I'm wrong, the request was there was 3 doors that we wanted the emergency,
Push bars.
push bars, and then 2 doors with keypads.
No,
The
it was
one
just.
door with keypad, and then I thought it was, from what we were,
The push bar on the back door.
the push bar in the back door, and then on keypad into the area where the firefighters are staying.
So, I don't know if you did different.
Yep, you play
I
that.
just wanted the push bar on this door,
Mm-hmm.
and, because the other one already has it, for that one to be just a turning lock and unlock door, and then for this one to have the keypad, and the back one to have the keypad.
Okay, so 2 keypads on 2
Yes.
doors.
Mhm.
All right, so we have all that information. I tried to print it out. I got the quote today with the storms and everything. I couldn't print anything out of the house, so I apologize. The quote that I have for each page to do what was asked of, hold on to your britches, is $11,306.71.
It's great.
We're in the
I
wrong
got that.
business.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's
So-
a swap out lots.
No, it's not just locks. There's a little bit more to it.
You're installing crash bars on the doors and putting keypads.
Keypads.
If you're doing it right, I don't know that it should be that expensive, but
I don't either.
it's expensive, so I can tell you that.
Yeah.
So I just, this is the same company that's handling our roll-up doors, so.
My little brother, that's what he does for a living, but he's so busy right now, he's got like a 1,200 door job in Austin, so he's just not gonna be around.
And I know Jeff was trying to get quotes, he hadn't got a quote yet, so DH Pace was here when they were here doing the estimate for the roll-up doors, and so that's why we asked him to provide us a quote.
I'll ask, let me ask Eddie Gonzalez. He works for Osso Abloy, which is the largest manufacturer of elemental doors and stuff in the world. And he's right here in Devine, and he's the one that contracts a lot of that work out, and see who he recommends.
Our main thing was just for that door to be open and closed during business hours, and then for the push bar mainly on this one.
Yeah.
That back one doesn't need a keypad. It would be nice. It's not a necessity.
So they wrote down everything that was requested that day for the quote, and so
Can you send that to me,
Yeah,
please?
yeah.
And I'll,
What,
David has a lot of resources.
What company was it that did that?
The DH Pace.
Jeff, do you know Dave?
Okay, all right. We'll reach out to a couple other resources. That seems a little, I mean, I know, again, if done properly and the right equipment, it's not cheap,
Yep.
but that seems a little ridiculous.
Yes.
11's, I mean, I'll bid it at 11.
You'll do it for 11, huh?
Yeah.
You'll do it for $10.99?
Yeah,
do it for 10.
exactly.
I've seen the prices right
I'll
on
go
there.
down to 10.5.
Yeah, okay.
Keep going.
Okay, where are we at? I know we discussed it, and with the volunteer fire department, with running code compliance and using ESD vehicles, we discussed, we didn't want that. And you guys come to, first off, let me just preface this, and I want you to know this too, Chief Cook, because I know you're presenting a proposal to us as well, and the city manager and the mayor have both come to me on a couple different occasions, and they really, really want the volunteer fire department to continue code compliance. It's a good deal for the city, and as far as I'm concerned, the volunteer fire departments, I mean, they're making really good money doing it. If we can figure out how that continues. Basically, the city, you know, for them to have an in-house person doing it, they have to pay salary plus benefits plus everything, and then by just contracting here, it's a win-win for them. And
What is the contract cost?
it's $110,000 a year. And that's what they're being paid to go out and do this, and that's just going to the funds for the volunteer fire department. That's money they have that goes into their coffers. So I'm just putting that out there that the city really wants that to continue. And I won't pretend to exactly understand how, if we end up contracting with ESD1, exactly how that's gonna gel with volunteer fire department in one. I can see it a little bit, but not completely. But I would think that they would be autonomous enough that they could still run that contract if they wanted to. But
Todd, they mentioned last week that they had already worked it out to have that completely separate, to have the
With
employees
vehicles.
completely separate and the city provide the vehicle.
So I'm glad you brought that up, because you said last week, Jessica, that the city had told y'all that you would have a vehicle to be able to perform that work. The word is that the city didn't approve that. So there's some disconnect or some confusion, is that correct?
yeah, well, the mayor told me he didn't know that they had approved that. The city manager made it kind of sound like they could work that out, so I don't know. If they're-
I spoke with the city manager about it.
I don't know if they're not talking to each other or what.
Sounds like they're not talking to each other.
Because they came to me on two different occasions.
Right, and he said that they would be able to provide us a vehicle.
Yeah.
So I think maybe
Okay.
get the city manager and the mayor together and have that discussion, because they're one saying one thing and the other saying something else, so, but that does happen. So.
So we are, yes,
Okay, firehouse door.
oh, we're talking doors, so I
know.
I got you, okay. Fire door updates, you're talking about the roll-up doors.
Yeah, the roll-up door. So I talked to them today, this week. They're waiting on parts. As soon as parts come in, they'll be scheduling to come in. They said they thought maybe they'd be in by the end of the week, but they wouldn't guarantee me that.
Okay.
So we are trying to get here soon. So when they come in, they'll do all the repairs plus do the inspection of everything as well.
Okay.
I wonder if they can prioritize, like, the door broken.
That's the parts that they've ordered.
Yeah.
Those are the parts that they've ordered.
So as the four commissioners that are here tonight, are you all in agreement? As long as volunteer fire department's not using ESD vehicles for code compliance, you guys don't have any issue with that?
I,
Still not a big fan.
no.
Okay.
think it could
It's a lot
cause,
better.
I'm sorry?
I say it's a lot better if they're not using their truck, the trucks and the firefighters, but the separate person, it's a lot better,
I think the problem is the misrepresentation of what it brings and negativity to this department in this house.
And the
how it
reality
has-
is, I don't, okay, from my standpoint, I don't think we can tell them to not do it. We can give them our opinion,
True.
on that. I don't really have
I
a
think
problem with it. I think most of the people are gonna complain with the ones that got citations.
Oh,
That's just kind of how I look at it. But, to me, the consensus is when we hear issues about it, I like it as a fundraising for you guys. That's why I like it. The volunteer fire department needs to raise money, and that's $110,000 a year. But the reason people tend to object to it, and I'm not speaking for anybody here, but is the optics of it. They look at the fire department and they think, hey, the fire department's the one that's supposed to pat the babies on the head, take the cats out of the tree, that, just be the friendly people and the, save people. But they're rolling up on people and writing citations. But that's the optics is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's,
I mean,
Or showing up to do it.
that's why people are
Yes, sir.
objecting to it, okay?
Yeah, we
My
were-
personal opinion is, I don't have a problem with it,
We
but that's
were
just me.
planning on making it its own separate entity. Not to have the actual, like, the department logo, the firefighters, the
T-shirts, different.
everything.
Yeah.
whole different uniform.
To separate it
different
out,
uniform.
I think that's a good
And if
idea.
they can work that out with the vehicle, then that's even better, because now you're City of Devine vehicle versus
Yes, sir.
Devine Volunteer Fire Department.
No, 100%.
I think y'all can see the optics, right?
Of course, yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
All right, okay. Of the contract for biannual inspections?
I think we've already approved
We're
all that.
approved that, right?
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking, okay.
Yeah, we can take that one off for next time.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, I think we can take that off for next time.
Any other discussion on old business? Moving on to new business, budget workshop. In talking about budget, obviously that's a big deal. Whether this board decides to go with ESD1 or continue the contract with the volunteer fire department, either way, the number has grown, okay, significantly from what it has been in the past. It seems, and again, I don't want to speak for you all, so if I say something you don't agree with, please throw something at me or whatever. But I believe we all agree that it just seems in today's age where we're at in small town America, and it's not just here, it's across the country, that if you're going to have effective firefighting in a district, you need paid firefighters. At least some to get out there. The days of the local businesses allowing their employees to go and work and leave work and go volunteer it's just not what it used to be one day. If for no other reason, I mean, how many people actually work local here? There's some, but not like there used to be at one time. I can remember growing up around here and it seemed like it was the cool thing to do. Everybody was gonna volunteer for the fire department, and there was lots of employers around here that allowed them to do that, and man, and it worked. And so it's just gotten more difficult. And so whether we have two proposals that have been put in front of us, and from the volunteer fire department and from ESD1, and both of them have a provision for paid firefighting staff. Okay. Again, I'll speak for myself, but I've been on this board the longest, I don't know, around 10 years, and I've always said I wish we could have a completely paid staff. We just never had the money to do that. It's not cheap, But with the addition of the sales tax that we put into place, that's helped, and it's increased our budget, and it's allowed us we'd already started to have paid firefighters with the volunteer fire department, and I believe the move forward is to continue that. And with the right leadership, I think that will be the best thing for our district. And being able to have good run times and just, again, provide the best firefighting services we can for the district, for District 2. And that's just my statement. With that being said, we'll move into budget discussions, because a lot of this is gonna move us in one direction or another.
Well, we probably are not gonna be able to come up with the final budget tonight, because there's a lot of factors that have to be done and contracts that need to be decided upon. But the one thing we do need to decide upon is what our tax rate is going to be proposed at. I gave you several pieces of paper. One of the first ones is on the bottom. This one says comparison of values, a single sheet. If you will look at it, I only went back to 2017, but our tax rate up until then was 9.48. And it stayed at 9.48 until 2021. Then the state started compressing the rate because they were raising the values. So as they raised the values, they had compressed the rate, so it was pretty much where we got about the same thing. And you can see that if you look at the values. We started at 435 million, and we went to 450 to 475, and then to 514 to 568. Then we jumped to 656, and then last year it was at 797. So you can see how much it jumped. But last year, our total, the year before, 23-24. Our total tax rate was 704, with our M&O rate being 587. And so on this paper that looks like this, the first one on your sheets that are attached together, these are the rates. I had sent you this in an email, but these are the rates. Our value is now at 827,194,196. And so if you take that, the total rate is over on the right. But the rate has to break down to take out that amount that is for our debt service. That's always the same. So 1.13 is your debt service, and it's always gonna be the same. So the first amount that you look at is a total of 673. Based on that, that would bring an M&O rate of 5.6 or 56 cents, with the M&O rate being 113. That would bring in, we usually look at a 98% collection rate, because you don't ever collect everything. But we look at 98 because we're pretty lucky to get that 98% of it. So that would make your total revenue for your M&O to be 453,000. Okay, so that's real close to what we have in our budget for this year. Then we were expecting to bring in $480,000. The reason these rates are so close to last year is because of our exemptions that we gave. There's 56 million, I believe it's $56 million in exemptions that were given. Okay. The next rate, and we explained this to you, the next rate is what they call the voter approval rate. That's the highest you can go without putting yourself in a position to have a voter approval election. That total is 7.43. It makes your M&O rate at 630 because of the 113. That would bring in at 98%, that would bring in $510,000 for the M&O side. And that's pretty much what we look at, because that's what we have to pay our firefighters and take care of all the rest of the bills. We were looking at whether we want to increase. Okay, so I put in a figure of 950. That's real close to what we started at 948. At that rate, we would bring in $678,000 in M&O. Now, the way I understand the voter approval rate, you can go with a voter approval rate, go over that amount by any amount, and the taxpayers, once you issue your public announcement of what your rate is going to be, taxpayers have, I believe it's 90 days to get a petition up. They have to have a certain percentage of people sign it, saying that they want an election. They want to approve whether they want this rate to go up. I asked the tax office if this has happened before, and she said not normally with the small taxing entities, but it did happen to the city of Castroville about 10 years ago. And So what do? You set your rate at 9.5, and it goes out for an election, and they say, no, we're not gonna pay that. You have to go back. So the most we could do at that time would be 7.43. So what happens? They've started collecting money because 90 days, and then you have to wait for an election. So all that time has gone by, and what they had to do, anybody that had paid their taxes got a refund of what they overpaid. And so we would be in that same situation. If we had, and I think she said it's 3%, I'm not positive, I don't know, Debbie, if you know that figure, but something like 3% of your total taxpayer base. I don't know what our taxpayer base is, how many families we have, or how many voters we have. I have no idea at this time. So that's where we put ourselves. Whether it would happen or not, I don't know. I think if people understood the reason that we go up, then that would cause them hopefully not to think that they would need to see that. Now, I've provided you also with some comparisons of what your budget would look like, and that's these 3 pages that are attached together. The bottom part of this, where it says expenses, all of that's the same, and then down at the bottom is what we need for our INS. That's gonna be the same, that there's no change in any of that. The only change would be if you decided that our audit expense needed to be raised or whatever, these little items. The first one has no tax rate in, so there's no tax, no M&O tax showing, and there's no contract amount. I did that so you could see that without any M&O tax coming in, our revenue would be $524,000. That's with $500,000 in sales tax and then the little delinquent taxes and everything. And then without a contract for the fire department, our expenses before the forensic audit would be $137,000. Okay? So you can see we'd have $386,000, and that's pretty much all we'd have if we didn't have any M&O money coming in. But look at the second one. The second one up at the top on the right says a rate of 7.43, still no contract amount in there, because we don't know what the contract's gonna be right at this time. That makes your M&O rate at 6.30, and now we would have $510,000 in taxes coming in, added to the sales tax and everything, $1,034,000 coming in. Without the contract being in there, that shows that we would have a surplus of $896,000. And we don't wanna take all of that surplus because we wouldn't have any money left at the bottom to pay that forensic audit or anything else. You know, we wanna have a little bit of leeway. The next thing is where I put in the 9.50, that rate. If you look at that, the 9.50 would give us that rate of 8.37 for the M&O side. It would bring in $680,000 in taxes, and still without a contract, that would bring us to $1,066,000, of which we could work a contract amount in. I'm giving you all this because the most important thing we do tonight is decide what the tax rate's gonna be. It has to be posted. We have to have a public hearing next month so the public can come and talk to us about it. You know, before, we've never had anybody come to our public hearings on our tax rates, never. But it could happen if they see that this is gonna go up that much. So that is kind of what we need to look at. Once we plug in that contract amount, we will have a definite budget. But until we sit down with either the fire department or ESD1 and come up with the actual contract amount, the best we can do, and we may not be able to do that in a month, the best we could do is put in an amount that we're going to allow for the contract. If we're gonna say, okay, we'll give $800,000 for a contract, you know, and then we'll pay all the rest of our bills, and then we'll know that we'll have $200,000 left if we rule the higher rate. That's one of the things that we can do in order to have a budget next month to present at a public hearing. So I don't know if that's helpful. You might wanna look at all these other things that are down here. We talked about them last month. There was only one thing that we added, and that was the door maintenance. We wanted to make sure that was put in. So it's under the equipment maintenance contract, so that includes the generator and the doors right now. But that was pretty much all the things that we had. There was a few changes here and there, but that was pretty much it. Except that I did put in, under the audit expense for the very first one, it says Devine Volunteer, no, I'm sorry, the third one. The contracted audit review for the Devine Volunteer, we had 6,000, we put 22,000 in. We had 10,000, we've only paid 6 this year so far. So we put 22,000 because we'll have 2 audits, even if we pay for one, hopefully they can get the 2 audits that would be left. That would be for 23-24 and 24-25, because we'll be ending this year. So that would give us 2 years of audits to pay. We may not pay those both, but we need to have it in there just in case we have to.
Yes.
So what questions do you have?
Can we talk about how much that actually costs taxpayers?
This one here?
There is that other little page I gave you that has, and I don't know that I have a copy of it, but it has how much it costs, yes. I don't think that the original first amount, that 134, this is based on a $200,000 home without any exemptions, okay? So if your home is worth $200,000 for our tax rate, you would pay $134.60 at the rate that what they call their no new revenue. That's where we leave it at where it's close to what it was last year. If we go with the voter approval rate of 7.43, it would go up $14 or $148.60. If we went up to the 9.5, it would go up $41 from the original amount, or $190
Per year.
per year.
The 134.60 is what they're gonna pay the citizens, all of us,
As of right now.
regardless.
Right.
That's gonna happen. And so the difference between 6.73 and going up to 9.5 is an additional 41.40 for the year. For the year, correct?
Yes. So divided by
Yes.
12.
Okay. Okay. And that's obviously because it's spread out amongst lots of folks, you know. This is before any exemptions.
That's right.
Current exemptions, I'm trying to think, the homestead went up to 100,000, right?
So that, not for y'all. The only exemption, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to butt in, but, when you hear about the state's homestead, it's strictly for school districts.
Oh.
It's my understanding this board adopted an exemption. That's the only exemption on your tax rate.
That's for over 65.
That's for over 65.
And I'm
Whatever
sorry,
y'all adopted.
Yeah.
Did you adopt a percentage or an actual dollar amount?
a dollar amount.
Dollar
Okay,
amount.
that's the safer way.
Yeah.
And so,
Todd,
that
that's-
just reduces the value of that
40,000,
house.
right?
I'm sorry, it's 5140, and, 5540.
Okay.
It's the total of those two.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah,
134 and
yeah.
190.
The other thing you wanna be cautious of is, because you have an INS rate, you're talking about paying your debt off. So your INS rate is not a stable rate. Your INS rate is, how much does that rate need to be to accomplish your debt service?
Right, yeah.
So if you pay all your debt off, that goes away. It's my suggestion to all boards is just operate off an M&O. You don't have to have an INS.
No, well, we did in order to get this firehouse.
Well, no, you don't, but you can still do your debt with your M&O. You just don't tie it to a tax rate. You can still operate, because you're still capped at 10 cents, whether you do INS, M&O and INS, no matter what, it's 10 cents. That's your statutory cap. And so by having an INS, you limit yourself to either having to keep debt to keep that rate, or you have to go get new debt. The reason you have districts have an INS, it's really bigger more important for larger districts that have larger debt, is because you're tied to that 3.5%. Well, that INS isn't affected. And so your INS gets to stay. You don't have to, it's not tied to that 3.5%, if that makes sense. So operating off strictly M&O is your safest bet.
And our debt, like we have right now, only consists of this firehouse, which it'll be paid off before this fiscal year's up.
If you have none of that, then your INS, then you no longer get to collect INS. And so if you don't have your M&O set at a higher rate, then you're going to, that's going away.
But the funds that are collected as delinquent taxes on the years that we have had the INS rate will continue to come into the account even after the firehouse is paid off. Because as long as we have the INS rate and they're collecting taxes on that, if they're delinquent, you're still gonna come.
Your
out.
delinquent funds. Yes,
It will be.
yeah, like, we still
And
collect
so we
15.
can use that money on other debt.
But the $99,000 that we're budgeting for here in the INS,
It would be gone.
if we, let's just say in July, we've been collecting that INS, but July we pay the firehouse off, whatever was left of that 99,000, we're not gonna get. And then the following tax year, we could not have an INS if that would be the option, you would just say.
And again, you're looking at a harder to drive right now your de minimis is 13 cents, so you can go higher. But as your revenue grows, it's gonna be harder to stay up near 10 or 9.5 or whatever because of that 3.5% statutory cap. So remember, ESDs are capped twice, 3.5% first, and then 10 cents. 10 cents is the absolute cap, but 3.5% is your first one before it could trigger an election, but that's why they give the de minimis rate to be able to gain an additional 500,000. Sorry, I know that's a lot of information, but it's,
Okay.
Carry the two.
I do
got
math by
it.
the month.
So-
I do math by the month, so I just wanted to throw out.
So, Volunteer Fire Department, I'm sorry, were you asking a question? I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
no, I wanted to just go through and do math by the month, because we
Okay.
talked about it would be $14 a year more if we did the voter approval rate, the .0743. $1.17 a month for a $200,000 home value. All right, and then the suggested rate, or not suggested, but that's the one that, the higher one, would be the .0950. It's the $55.40 a year, and that comes up to about $4.62 a month. So I guess, I'm just saying that if you think about how much you might pay in homeowner's insurance, right? And how much, and I know my homeowner's insurance went up by 33% in the last couple of years. Because my home value went up by 33% in the last couple of years. But I guess, I think about, my home value is, in that range, it's an average property in Devine. And so, I think about paying an extra $5 or $6 a month. And I guess I kind of think about it the same as I think about insurance. But anyways, that's why I think it's interesting to break it down all the way down to the month and think about those things.
Well, what I'm looking at here, this is the 1.2, is that what you're saying? Again, if you provide all these paid services to staff and.
No, well, that is a worst case scenario, meaning we'd hire the chief, assistant chief, and the staff at the highest rate, which we wouldn't do. We usually hire bid.
Yeah. Okay. What was
Question.
Chief Cook's? Yes, ma'am, Ms. Randall.
So, if you're still talking about tax rate, I know that the city, probably for the last, at least 3 years, maybe 4, but within the last 3, has gone not to the de minimis, but pretty close. And one of those years, it did go over the voter approval amount. Like if someone were to sit and actually look at the chart, it truly did go over by, I don't know, like 3 cents or something. It was a very minimal amount, but we didn't have one person complain. And not one person called, oh, they all complain because they don't want their taxes to go up. It has nothing to do with the actual rate. Well, it does in a way, but they're looking at their big number versus what did the tax rate do? The tax rate would have only fluctuated, like you're saying, $30 or $40 per household, depending on. So I do know the city has done it in the past, and I just can't remember exact what years. But, and nobody came forward and started we need to do a voter approval.
Well,
I'm
this-
not saying that it could happen, but as long as you have a good explanation, and like you said, show them it's only $4 a month, or $40 for the whole year, whatever it is, I think our residents would definitely not have a problem with the raise in the tax rate for you guys. Okay, I'm not gonna say anything about the city, but for you guys, I don't see that there should be a problem, because we're talking about a service we all depend on, and we need it to be at its finest. So, am I willing to pay that extra $40? Let me give you a check, I'll do it now, because we all need your support, well, the fire department's support. So,
Well, this entity here has kept that rate, if you look at the history of it, has compressed every year going
Yeah.
back to 2017, 18. And the reason was, we had enough money, you know? And so it was always like, why are we gonna collect more? We don't need it.
Because you're not paying firefighters back then.
But we weren't paying firefighters either, you know? And so that's the only reason we're talking about it now.
And I remember in our budget, when we discussed this last year, we dropped our percentage or our tax rate because of the kind of inflated bulb
Yes.
that hit, so we dropped it. And that helped, even though it seemed like people paid more, they would have paid a significant amount more if we would have kept it where it was, so. And as looking at our history here, you know, things ran a lot, I guess probably a lot smoother back then, but you can't stay at that low rate forever and be able to provide the service.
What's a good number that ESD1 has provided? 1.1, Chief Cook, is that?
So 1.1 was what I believe you're gonna be all in, including your debt, including everything the ESD pays, like, that budget would be the ESD's budget to operate.
So this one includes,
And I had,
So that includes, when we look at our budget.
All of this
when we
right
look-
here.
Right,
That
we look at
includes
our
all of this right here.
$137,000 worth of debt
that's in there, I believe.
that's in there.
yeah.
I went through his last month and I pulled out, the expenses that we would be covering. And without payroll, it came to about $180,000 for the other things that he'd be paying. And then the payroll on top of that was $725,000.
Correct. Yeah. So that'd be
So
the
it was
difference.
180 plus.
I guess what I'm trying to wrap my head around, when I look at the numbers and we're talking about a budget, whether we raise tax rate or not, the top number, there at 9.5, gives us total of 1.2 to work with. And so if we're talking about contracting with whoever we contract, we have to make sure we have, enough to do that.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So, 1.1, and if you're going to cover the debt instead of having them take care of the accounting for you, would that then make it go just to 1? If the debt was at 100,000, let's not play with this.
So,
Comes
all
up to
I
about
looked-
900,000.
what I looked at was just to help them establish a budget of what it's gonna cost to operate.
Fully.
I had my number a little bit different, so I generally operate off 10 cents. The reason I operate off 10 cents is it's easy math. You have 67 million, I think is what your taxable value was, somewhere in that ballpark. So 10 cents, you get $867,000 from that. And you're gonna bring in about 500,000 sales tax. So I'm pushing 1.4 total revenue for the ESD.
Yeah.
And so that leaves, so realistically, I think the fire department operations, not including your debt, was about 950,000, somewhere in that ballpark. And so that leaves almost $500,000 to look at capital expenditures, additional debt, we need to add a station, we need to start replacing apparatus. That leaves that available.
Because that still gonna be an expense if we were to contract with one, is you still might come to us, hey, we need this, we need that. It's outside of budget items that are required, just like the volunteer fire department does now. They provide a budget, and then whether we're paying for apparatuses or a truck or whatever.
Yeah, so, I mean, we would work to establish the solid budget, which would include what capital do we want to look at. You know, the thing about vehicles is the reason those need to be talked about now is they're 2 years out. You place an order now, you're not getting it for 2 years.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing with vehicles right now is automatic, it doesn't matter anymore, 8 to 10% increase every October or November, depending on when they do it. Well, 8 to 10% increase on a $150,000 fire engine wasn't always that much, but that percentage hasn't changed. And so when a fire truck's $1 million, 8 to 10% every year.
Yeah.
We're looking at some other apparatus, like I just switched one of my purchase orders, and the engine is going to be $665,000. I have a quote right now for a $665,000 engine that, you know, it'll deliver in 12 months. But all of those are options. Long story short, if you take your tax rate to what you can take it to, you have more than enough money to operate and still plan for the future, expand your services, and be fiscally responsible to the district.
We go buy Bob's apparatus and get one tomorrow.
What's that?
Go to Bob's apparatus and get one tomorrow.
If we take out.
This is the number.
Bless you.
Yeah, but that would be adding the 500,000 sales tax. If we did the whole thing, that'd be 1.4. Does that make?
Todd? You knew I couldn't keep quiet. Y'all need to go up to the max. No matter whether you contract with the volunteer fire department or you contract with them, you need to get to the max so that you can be able to afford what's going on. No matter what, you're gonna pay people to be here. So, you know, I've got a couple of houses in the district, I'm willing to pay it, and I don't think that it's that big of a tax increase. And same thing with our district, we've done the same thing, we've gone down every year. We just did the same thing that y'all did and Castroville did with the 65 and disabled. And we're kind of shooting ourselves in the foot when we try to expand to do the things that we need to do.
It's also my understanding that the proposal that ESD1 presented was 4 and 2 both doing this. That's a must, is that correct?
It is.
Okay.
And we're in negotiations, we're gonna start negotiations tomorrow.
Four is doing that.
The big difference there, so it's not, so if you go to it's still, yes, that needs to happen, that's the best way to do it, that's what's in the best fiscal responsibility of both districts. Basically, you're gonna share leadership.
It saves that 216,000 for the district.
Right. Yeah, you're gonna share leadership.
You don't have to get into this if you don't want to. I don't know what kind of discussion the volunteer fire department has had. Obviously, you know what's on our mind, what we've been thinking. What's the feeling like in the fire department? Is ESD1 gonna crush you guys? Is that gonna break you all apart to pieces and nobody's gonna wanna be here?
I don't think so, sir.
No. Our volunteers are just on edge just because of the unknown, but for the most part, I think the feeling all the way around is just, they just wanna make sure that the guys are taken care of. Most of it, I think one is waiting on certification, but, I mean, they can apply with ESD1 if they're hiring and, you know, but the volunteers themselves, it's for the community, so it's not like they're gonna just up and desert.
I mean, I kinda envision if we do contract with one, that the volunteer fire departments, because there's other volunteer fire departments to work with you all, correct, Chief Cook? Or no?
We are still contracted to 3 volunteer fire departments legally.
Okay.
for the most part, they're, I'll say shell organizations, but there's a reason they still exist, and most of it has to do with potential ownership challenges. And also to really keep the, you know, the name. And we still handle their 990s, they're still an organization. And so there are certain things that the VFDs can do when it comes to, well, one of them's fundraising and then donation, the way the donations work. So we had a different situation because pretty much all the volunteers were, there wasn't very many left. Most of them just wanted to be under our name. And so they all came over, but we still do contract. They do not receive any supplement checks. But like one of our volunteer fire departments, Myco, they had a really great program up there where they did a really good fundraising and their community really supported them. They are remodeling one of our fire stations on their dime. And they're able to do that with 501c3 funds. And so that helps a little bit with how you can do things and how it's spent, even though we're kind of monitoring it. But so there's still a value in having the fire department part of it. The fire department's what built these communities. They are the back.
So when I look at these firefighters that are back here, they've been, a lot of them showing up at these meetings, and I know they're interested in what's going on.
Sure.
If we contract with one, who are they gonna work for? What are they gonna do?
So there's a couple, so
They wanna be here.
If they're career
The chief here
personnel.
just said they're here for
Sure.
the community. They wanna be, they wanna help, and
So if they're career personnel, so if we bring them on as a career, they absolutely work for us. Leadership still comes from us. What shirt they decide to wear every day, doesn't matter to me. They're gonna be taken care of no matter what.
I mean, that's what I'm looking at, is,
Yeah.
they wanna be here, they like this firehouse, there's a long history here.
Right.
Is that if we go with one, that they still get to walk in the door whenever when they can and be
I
here
hope
and
so.
volunteer and be a part
They
of what's
definitely
going
can.
on.
I hope they choose to.
You know, so-
Right? We would never, we track how much, what our volunteers contribute to us each month, hours wise. And now we've hired a lot of them, so a lot of them have used it as a step towards a career.
Well, I was gonna ask that too, and I would think that through the training that your organization can provide, continue to provide,
Right.
that the volunteers would be able to use that too, and you've got
Most of them.
7 other firehouses that got paid positions, and maybe there's opportunity for them to grow and go there.
That's kind of how we've used our system. We have a few that are just truly, they have other careers that they just want to volunteer, but most of the young folks coming in, they're using it as an opportunity to get trained. They're getting their certifications. We're not charging them for it. They just have to give us hours. They ride with us. They're force multipliers. On average, we save our district about $45,000 a month in payroll with volunteer staffing. So it's decreased a little bit. We were averaging on average about 2 people a day, 24 hours a day. And we're down to about 1 right now, but we're getting ready to host another academy. And that'll jump back up. We'll have, 10 or 12 more. And we track it like that. The days of responding from the house, they're kind of gone. The days of personally owned vehicles with lights on top and people running through traffic.
We don't do much of that anymore anyway, so that's, yeah,
So
yeah.
those days are kind of over, because when people call 911, they want someone to show up. Your community's still a little bit more fortunate that you still have the community that's been here. My community that I'm primarily responsible for, these people are moving into Medina County, and they do not believe they're moving into a rural county. They don't see a difference between the city of San Antonio or Bexar County or anything else. They don't see whenever they cross that line. And when they call 911, they expect someone to show up. But what we're also seeing is the rest of the county is also going, wait a minute, we're getting, hey, why did not my area have that? And I think it's kind of triggered some of these conversations. But
Well, and I think, for me, our volunteer firefighters have done a great job, and call times and all that has been good. Yeah, there's been a lot of controversy that's come through here over the last year. Not really the fault of the firefighters that are still here today. They had a bad leader, that took a lot of people for a ride. And
you'll
that's
have
just,
to,
and so,
good organization.
anyways. Okay.
report I told, Mr. Summers, I'm not sure you were here, but my first commitments to the citizens, my next commitments to the firefighters, period. And that it goes in that order. I've tried to, I believe everyone here will tell you that, all the firefighters here will tell you that at some point I've probably talked to them. I've come to talk to them, trying to reassure them that, hey, just let whatever this process is, don't let the distractions of these business discussions and the politics of it distract you from why you do this. So, and that'll always be my commitment.
And I appreciate you being here the last several meetings, or I could be here the last one. And I don't know, I mean, what does the Devine Volunteer Fire Department have to say? Is there anything you guys want to say? Any firefighters that have something they want to say about this to
I would hope that-
persuade us in one way or another, or whatever?
I would hope that everybody here would be willing to speak freely with nothing being held against any one person because of what you feel and how you talk. Okay? I'm just putting that out there. I'm sorry, Scott, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yes, sir, it's not a problem. I mean, I think our fire department is outstanding. Have we gone through some changes? Yes. Have we gone through some road bumps? You bet we have. But we still do the same job. Fight fires, save lives, 911 doesn't stop. Going to the paid department is gonna cost more. There's no doubt. But as Mr. Summers has elaborated on, it's almost a requirement now. I know the budget that y'all are presented is the top, kind of like the Cadillac Escalade. But there's wiggle room in there. I think if you stayed with ESD2 and our fire department, our citizens would be well protected. Our community would be well served, and I don't think that we would skip a beat. As Chief Cook said, they run fire and EMT academies out of their department. We do the same thing here. The problem that we've had here is we can't compete with the pay of the other departments. As Chief Cook was mentioned, he comes and hires from us. If we could get up there where we're a little more competitive, I think that we would have the opportunity to retain our firefighters for that career path and keep them here, for their career, versus getting them trained up, getting them certed up, and then them go on to bigger and better things, just because it costs a lot more to live these days. We don't hold that against them. Most of them that leave here, they still come back and volunteer. But I think sticking with us, I think we're a solid department. We're younger in the leadership, but you won't find anybody that gets more time, energy, and effort than the crews that we have here. Selflessly. I mean, it's what you do this job because you love it, not because of the money. Yes, sir.
Anyone else?
Back there? Here's your time.
Hello.
Come on up, don't be shy.
Come on down.
Oh, you're on the stage now.
Yeah.
I didn't really have anything prepared to say because I usually don't feel like it's really given an opportunity for us to speak, especially even more so because I'm not a Devine citizen, but I give my all to this community. I give my all to, and like Chief DeLucia said, I don't do it for the pay. I started out as a volunteer here, and in my year that I've been here, it's not about the money for me. I love what I do. I can't imagine doing anything else, and that's a God calling is what I feel like. And in the last year, yes, I know that our community has seen this department, have some things happen to it. But what I don't think the community understands is that under the command staff now, under the leadership that we have now, this place has done a 360 with morale and training and pushing forward even in the mess that was kind of handed, to Chief Martinez and Chief DeLucia, and even us lieutenants. And I just wanna say that, you know, even if, you know, you guys decide to go with ESD1, I get that. But, you know, this place isn't just a stepping stone for, you know, some of us, including myself. I was asked not long ago, have you thought about going anywhere else? And I right away said no. This is my home. This community, you know, like I give my all to this community. I give my all to this place, and I love it. And I just hope that the community knows that even though you might not see, you know, behind closed doors of what's going on, that you know, there's changes here that we're trying to give, you know, 100%. And yeah, I just want you guys to know that it's not just a stepping stone for some of us. And that's I guess really all that I have to say. So
Thank you.
thanks
Thank
for
you.
your-
Very good.
Anyone else? I don't know who's around the corner, if there's anybody back there. It's your time.
Floor's yours.
We'll see if something comes out straight, but as far as like working in the organization and departments, I think we look at a big picture and say everybody's kind of frustrated with all the situations of what's kind of happened. And it's like you can go back and bash all that stuff, but what systems are gonna be put in place today that are gonna minimize what results we saw, you know, 6-8 months ago? As far as being part of an organization, you know, Devine Fire is our home, and it's something we spend a lot of time in. And each person in this room has either directly or indirectly been part of those organizations. If that's either paid fire, volunteer, whatever that looks like. And I think from a community standpoint, it's like whatever organization is running the fire service, they need to have books that are in order. They need to have a budget that's in check. They need to have accountability. And I know that it all ties into the mixing of the fire department board with the staff and all that stuff is like ultimately the fire departments should be held accountable. The fire department should be held accountable by the board, and the assistant chief and chief fall under that, and the ESD board keeps everything like that in order. And it's like when those things way out of balance, we get issues like this, and it's disheartening. And it's not so much disheartening with it affects all of us. Each one of us live here, and you know, $40 a month, okay, big deal. But if it provides a great fire service, then that's what we need here. We need something that we can depend on. Somebody's going to be there and be a part of that organization. Now, me in this organization for a little bit of time, I couldn't reach the criteria of what was required per week to do run a 12-hour shift. It's like I can't reach those demands, so I had to go somewhere else to do that. And it's like I still love Devine. I've always said that I would never leave the organization unless it was dangerous for myself. And it's like I couldn't meet the requirements. And you know, a lot of these people, it's like they've been here for some years, but when you see 5 or 6 fire chiefs go in and out, it's like there's some type of system that's broken, and something needs to change. And it's like I don't be pointing fingers like, hey, you know, like this is what I see. It's more of like these things are near and dear to my heart because, like, I get paid a lot more than what I do, and the fire service has been a huge part, and it's something that God has allowed us to interact with the people that have been marred and damaged, and maybe it's not in the paid area, or maybe it's not, you know, I love responding from home, but it's my hometown. It's like just this morning, we went to a structure fire, and it's like looking at the address, it's like, is this my customer that I'm going to help? It's like, that's why I do it. That's why, there's a lot of times they're like, oh, well, you know, I do it for the community. It's like, I live in the community. And when my 2-year-old niece lights up a mattress and almost catches our house on fire, it's like, I'll put it out. It's like, that's part of it. I understand policies, I understand going paid. But I also think it's also should be considered of what types of systems are gonna be put in place so this doesn't get duplicated. And that doesn't matter if it's in Devine Fire, ESD1, any of those types of things. It's like it affects us all, and each one of us have the heartache of what we've experienced in the past. And what is that? There's a saying that if on the opposite side of pain is joy, and it's like, what pain have we gone through in the past that projects us to the joy side of it? Because everybody here, I feel like, wants to see the department be successful, and whatever avenue that looks like.
Thank you.
I got one question, if you wouldn't mind. You said that you couldn't meet the criteria. Can you
Yes.
explain that, please?
So as far as like, I know there was it was broken into a couple sections, and it was, when Greg told me, he was like, you gotta pull a 12-hour shift of once a week. If you can't read that, then you can't make the call volume to make the runs. I don't particularly like to just stay in a firehouse. It's more of, it's not that I see that people are evil, but as far as, quite frankly, the temptation's there, I'd rather stay at my home and come here. Now, as far as fighting fires with somebody else, I'm more than happy to do that, but putting people in a room and putting on a shift, it's a conviction of mine. And as far as, I couldn't pull a 12-hour shift every week. It's like I have a full-time job, and the volunteer side is more, a lot of people do political aspect, and that's great, and it's like, but this is something that I like to do as my ministry to other people, and it doesn't matter who it is. And it's been a big delight, and yeah, so I don't,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you. That's nothing for us anymore, so I don't remember hearing any of that anymore.
Anybody else?
Just real quick. I think from a personal aspect of this department, it is very different than many others. The pay is not great, or even when you're a volunteer. They've said it enough, you're here because you want to be. You hear horror stories from SAFD where it's become a job, right? It's become a paycheck. This is a community, and we have wiggle room. As a 501c3, we have a lot of wiggle room. Can we make it somewhere that runs similar to ESD1? Not tomorrow, but we can strive for that. That's certainly always a possibility. Bring in the good people, bring in some stringent requirements, and let's figure this out. But that 501c3 aspect, that pay, that, you know what, there's no benefits. It's probably not what you can get somewhere else. Yeah, but I want to be there. And maybe later on, I'll go somewhere else. But I think that's what makes this place special. I think that's what makes volunteer fire departments special. Whether they're paid, hybrid, combination, whatever you want to call it. People want to be there, right? It's an opportunity to train, gain experience, and go elsewhere. I don't know that you find that anywhere else or anymore. I went through the academy at 56 years old, because I wanted to be here. Imagine if I had this opportunity at 18, what a career I could have built. You can't find that anywhere else. SIFD, you can start at 18, be lucky if you get it by the time you're 26. Right. So that's what makes this place special. That's really why I want to work hard to keep this place open. Obviously, the finances, the taxes, all that comes into play. The response times, the quality of responses, all that comes into play. But we probably could build something very good here with TVFD.
You have this, yours in front of you?
I do.
The line item you have for your stipends?
Pardon?
The line item you have for your stipends for volunteers?
Yes. That's,
Over to the right?
mhm. The $336, that's at $35 for 12 volunteers, but not everybody gets $35. That's capped max. And that is, I doubled the calls from 400 last year to 800. That's 800 calls. We don't know what we're gonna do with medical calls yet. But again, only your most qualified, most experienced will get 35. There's gonna be a tier below that.
Yeah, because if you broke it down by 12, that comes out to 28,000.
Per, yes. Yeah. But again, that's, not everybody's gonna get that.
You have a question?
Mr. President. So, we're kind of talking now about fire department versus ESD1 contract, but going back to tax rate, it doesn't really matter right now which contract you go with. I feel you need to go up on your tax rate no matter what, because, well, the expense of everything. So, and it doesn't matter which one, although I'll give you my opinion if you want it on which one I would say, and because I do speak to a lot of people in town that have given me what they thought we should do also. But I'm all for at least the 95. Because I don't think anybody's gonna complain about that extra $40 or $50 that it's gonna cost a year for what they're gonna get in return.
I'm in agreement with you, is I don't know that we have enough information, if you would, to make a determination on who we're gonna contract with, but regardless who we're gonna contract with, if you look at the numbers, they're not that far apart. And so regardless, if you're gonna bring in paid staff, you need more money. And so I agree with that statement, that we have to make that decision for sure on which way we're headed there, because, and again, just because of time restraints, we have to post it, we have to start moving in that direction. And maybe we do, I'm just speaking for myself, I mean, again, I'm only one person up here on the board.
I agree. I mean, we had a meeting, I don't remember how long ago it was, but I remember we were talking about growth and whether growth is gonna come fast or it's gonna come slow. I mean, it seemed like everything was gonna happen quickly, and then everything kind of stalled out a little bit. But that's not to say that it couldn't hit anytime soon. And we were talking about, I wanna get ahead of this, and at the time, we didn't think we could get ahead of it. Maybe now is the opportunity for us to get ahead, get the department, whatever we decide to do, that money is gonna help us get the best we can provide for the community. And especially with paid firefighters, upgrading any apparatus or anything we might need to.
I just have one question. So even if we do this tax increase right now, when would be the next time that we say, hey, guys, it's time for another tax increase?
Depends on where you go, because you cannot.
We couldn't go any
above
further.
10
You
cents.
can't go above 10 cents.
No.
Period?
Period,
Right.
ever.
Yeah, the only thing that would change is like what happened with this last year is we brought the tax rate down because of that bubble. People were gonna pay a lot in taxes. Even though we brought the tax rate down for us, your taxes still went up. So it appeared that we raised taxes, but we didn't. We really saved you guys money. But it was just hurting us.
But this would cap us.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, if you go to 10, that's it. That's the cap. So then the only thing that's gonna cause you to pay more is your appraised value. Right,
Which we
I
have
mean, that's,
control over.
yeah.
So,
And a non-elected.
So, to kind of recap, kind of what you were talking about, we were at, in 2017-18, we were at 9.48. We did that all the way up until 2021, and then we started dropping down. And a lot of that had to do with the inflated home values, things like that. So, I think that's kind of equalized at this point. And we need to prepare for whatever growth may happen in the future, to be ready. I'd rather be ahead of the schedule and have something in place than have to scramble to put something together.
Like what Mr. Dugo said, doesn't matter which one you go with.
And I don't know who might have the numbers on them. Most all ESDs are for their tax rate.
I'm sorry, what's that?
Most of the ESDs around here are what tax rate on average?
10. Well, so Natalia's your closest one, which they're 9.8, something like that. ESD4 is a little bit different. ESD6 is at 10. ESD3 is at 8. So the EMS ESD, we're at 10. We'll likely stay at 10.
So that, does that help? They give you an answer. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Sorry, we're up here whispering, just trying to figure out the direction we're headed. I'm inclined, again, I always like to preface, I'm only one person, right, I only get one vote. But I'm inclined for us to make a decision on the tax rate tonight so that we can start moving in that direction and then have another called meeting between now and our stated meeting, which will be our public meeting as well, to really nail down, that called meeting will be specifically to discuss and nail down the decision on the contract, which will give all of us more time to digest what we've received, ask more questions of the VFD, ask more questions of the ESD1, and make a decision at a called meeting. That's just my opinion.
The only thing that you're able to do tonight, and there's still some things we need to look at, because the calendar got real tight.
Yeah.
The only thing you're able to do tonight is propose a max tax rate.
Right.
And when you look at the calendar to see where that's at. And then at your next meeting, you'll have to, at that point, the ESD will have to adopt a budget. And keep in mind, you're adopting a budget, that budget can always be amended.
It's amendable.
So you're gonna adopt a budget, and then you'll adopt the tax rate after the budget. But there's calendar stuff that you need to make sure that.
Yeah, we have to do the proposed rate tonight, because that, again, that has to go and be presented and put in the paper, and there's lots of different things that have to happen between that and
And so,
then.
so one thing to move forward, somebody can make a motion to
My opinion is if you're going to 9, might as well go to 10.
propose a tax rate.
So, what we decide is where do you think you want the rate to go? So if we're discussing going to increase taxes, it's, $55 a year for 9.5. If you're going to 9.5, you might as well go to 10. I just, the dollar amount is very, very little difference. You might as well do it. If you're gonna get pushback at 9.5, you're gonna get pushback at 10.
But it could make.
Again, this board's responsible for doing the best we can for firefighting services, whether it doesn't matter who we contract with, that's what we have to
And
do.
we also have to look at, we have an aging fleet as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's gonna be a big part of, we're gonna have to, be getting new vehicles.
We know we're gonna need another fire station at some point, a second one.
Yeah.
There's a motion and a second.
I make a motion that we set the tax rate, or proposed tax rate
Proposed tax rate.
at 10. Is it 10%? Right, tax rate?
10 cents.
I'm sorry?
10 cents.
Excuse me, 10 cents. Apologies.
With your INS rate.
I'll second the
You
motion.
need to state what your INS rate is.
It's gonna get a little complicated there because you have an INS, and that's
So that's
something
what
we'll
she,
have to.
all right. So
We'll have to figure out because you can't.
10 cents with an
INS
INS,
rate of 113
with an INS rate with 113,
and regular rate, M&O at 887.
the regular, the MMO,
MNO.
MNO.
Wouldn't it be
10 cents including the INS?
At 8.8,
Isn't that how they would have to word it?
8.887?
I would set my M&O and do away with my INS.
887.
So if you,
I would set my
Yeah, I'm
M&O
confused.
and do away with INS, because you're talking about paying debt off, just come.
well, we've.
You guys are so close to getting rid of your debt, and you already have the money truly to pay that debt off, that you could get rid of INS now and just do M&O at 10 cents, and then you don't have to play the INS game. But that's you guys' decision.
I mean, we have the money right now
I'll
to pay
sign
it
it.
off.
I'll sign a check.
I'm sorry?
I mean, we have the money, we can pay it off now if we wanted to.
Yeah, you could, but
to pay it off.
you
We don't have to, but I'm just saying we have the money if we
Can
wanted
we print
to.
it out now?
No, I understand we don't have to.
Do I need to amend my motion?
Simplify it.
it would just be more simple without the INS.
Should we not make that motion and make a motion to pay off the INS?
For everybody.
Yeah.
We would need to make a motion to pay off the debt, for sure. And then
You don't have to do that, though. You don't have to pay it off. Right, you don't have to.
No, you don't have to, but they've already, that's okay. I just have to get back with the tax office, because we've given them all that information.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
So you can just,
Does it make it simpler?
yes.
Does it really make it
You
simpler?
just have an M&O rate of 10 cents, and that's it. Yeah.
M&O?
M&O.
Yes.
So I'll make a motion that we propose an M&O of 10 cents tax rate. All right.
I will second that.
I have a motion to have a proposed M&O tax rate of 10 cents, and I have a second. Any discussion?
No.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. We need to establish, as we just discussed, a date for a called meeting prior to our stated meeting.
When's the next time the paper runs? That's gonna be a big thing. It's gotta be in the paper for 7 days.
Yeah, it's every week. It's every Wednesday.
Okay.
I think I can get the information to
We
her.
need to have a meeting next Tuesday.
So I won't be here small person next year.
I know I will.
So,
We want the second, which is the day after Labor Day.
I don't know if I do that. You're gonna have people coming off vacation and whatnot.
So, just so you know, you don't have to make those decisions tonight. You don't have to tell everyone you're calling it. Let's figure out the paper, we can figure out the chainsaw tomorrow. It's gonna be what they are. As quick as they can get in the paper. Needs to be in the paper, then you can set your meeting after that.
Yeah, but the called meeting is not to adopt the tax rate, is to contract negotiations.
So, your tax rate's due pretty quick. So,
Yeah.
you don't have.
Our regular
we gotta
stated,
look at the calendar.
our regular stated meeting, our normal stated meeting would be the 16th.
But I won't be able to make that.
You don't, okay.
Will you have had it in the paper by then?
Yes,
Oh, yes, you can.
yes,
Labor
absolutely.
Day would be the 27th, the next one. August 27th is the next.
Yeah, August 27th, we can have the paper.
It'll have already been in the paper?
It will go into the paper on the 27th of August.
Posted a week, so we have
Yeah.
a weekly paper.
That's only a week from today, basically a week and a day from today. And then that, if we normally in the past would have adopted our tax rate on our stated meeting in September would be the 16th. So that's more than 3 weeks away, 3 weeks after that.
Yeah, it just has to be in a week before the meeting, right?
Yeah, just has to be in 7 days prior to the meeting.
So we'd be eligible to.
I'm looking at, you're both saying two different things.
Okay.
He's talking about the public hearing for tax rate, meaning that you can't have it until the 3rd or the 10th, or those 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Because of the newspaper being the 27th.
So-
You're talking about actually having a meeting to negotiate what contract.
So in the
you're talking
past-
about- Unless you're gonna do them in the same meeting.
We have. In the past, we've always had our public hearings the same night as our stated meeting.
Okay,
But she's talking about the call meeting being the same. It's not-
Yeah, the call meeting is not, is simply to discuss contract negotiations.
Okay, and that's what I'm saying,
The
but
stated
it's not
meeting on the
about-
16th, yeah.
from what I'm
I-
understanding, from my perspective,
Right.
of hearing, you're talking about two different things
Yeah,
here.
but we're not really, because we've always had our public meeting on the same night as our stated meeting, correct? We've always done that
Yes,
first.
but-
Yeah.
But we don't have a completed budget, so we have to have that call meeting to just determine what
Right.
amount we're gonna set aside for a contract, whether we
Right.
have one or not, so that we can finish and have our regular meeting on the 16th or whatever day it's gonna
Right.
be, and have our budget ready.
Budget for this on that night.
Yes.
Yes.
So we need to discuss
And
a call
normally we
meeting.
have our public hearing before that meeting, 15 minutes before the meeting, and then we
Yeah.
have a regular meeting.
Okay, yeah, that's what, I understand that now.
Yeah.
We could have, if you want to have a called meeting, you could, the second, I don't like the second because it's right after Labor Day. There's probably going to be people out of town or whatever, or getting back into town. I mean, if you do it, Wednesdays are not good because folks go to church on Wednesdays. Thursday, you could do the 4th for a called meeting. And then that even gives us time if we, for some reason, needed another one. You know, we could have another one. But the
Is that
4th,
for the guys in Virginia?
are y'all okay with the 4th? Called meeting, Ken?
The 4th?
Coaching flag football.
Coaching flag football. Okay.
Do a call meeting this week.
You can do one next week.
26th?
You could do it.
That won't be a whole week that it's been in the paper.
Well, that's okay, it doesn't need to be. Doesn't need to be.
Okay. We're trying to
You
determine-
can do it on 26. Do a call meeting on 26.
Sounds good.
What day is that?
Tuesday,
Tuesday.
Tuesday the 26th.
I don't think I can do that one. Let's do the 4th.
You're just shooting for the hell meetings.
Yes, they're saying we're.
4th?
Tell us what day we can do that. That just seemed to be the problem.
You seem to be the problem. 4th, September 4th? Okay.
She couldn't do the 26th.
We're gonna have a called meeting on September the 4th.
Okay.
Stated meeting is still on the 16th, which will also be our public hearing
It was.
on the 16th.
But the 16th would be good for both. But I think you have to.
7 o'clock?
I think. You'll check it
For the
out.
4th,
We've got time
yeah,
to do that. Yeah. 4th.
and then the 16th is the regular.
So the 4th for called, 16th for stated, traditional stated meeting.
Y'all, and then you can take notes though, because I can't be here 16th.
On the 16th?
I'll be
Okay.
I'll record it.
All right.
I'm not taking notes.
All right.
Tom,
Yes, ma'am.
I think we need to actually say in the motion to call the public hearing on the 16th.
Yes.
Okay.
So we need a motion for that.
Okay. Larry, you're our motion maker.
I make a motion that we have a scheduled public hearing on September the 16th to discuss the tax rate,
Yeah, just
To adopt.
to adopt the tax rate
tax rate and budget.
and budget.
I have a motion to have our public meeting on September 16th to adopt our budget and tax rate. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. Need a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Make a motion to end meeting. Sound good?
I have a
Motion.
motion.
Second.
Second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries. All right.
Yeah.